but you need to have that stuff going in order for somebody to jump on a wave. If you don't have a wave that you've created, there's nothing for anybody to jump on.
Right.
So you created something, like I said, bro. Like you was at like 100, 200 for a minute. And you kind of felt like you probably plateaued and was like, oh, okay, dang, I'm just gonna keep going, keep plugging. And now you might be getting a little YouTube check. I might get the YouTube bag. Like don't come to Atlanta, man. I know you got the YouTube money now. Listen, don't come to
Trust me, it's enough room for everybody.
Listen, man, man.
So, everybody can get this money. That's what I'm about. Everybody can get this money. Like, there's enough around, enough money to go around for everybody.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Now I'm happy for you, bro. For real. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. It's funny because I remember, you, Katrina, and what's his name? I forgot.
Anthony or Deuce Notions.
Yeah, Deuce Notion. Yeah. You guys had your podcast going on, and then y'all even did it on Twitch too, which now, I started uploading my videos on Twitch and stuff like that. So I am live on there as well. It was just cool seeing y'all like come together and do the whole video platform. And I was kind of thinking like, yo, I know I said podcast, but I wonder would he be down for like a video too as well. So I was like, let me use my StreamYard and we can do it all in one.
I'm down for whatever, bro. Whatever you like. I saw the little thing. I was like, I'll just to talk with you, man. We ain't have to record it. If you want to record it on audio, you want to do a video, whatever you want to do. I got everything here. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to just chop it up with you, see how things was going, man. Tell you about what's going on in my life, and just love on you a little bit.
Right. All right, let's go ahead and get started, and then I'll go ahead start out with the intro first. And then, did you want to go by Jarad or Jay Wright?
You use Jarad. Jarad is fine.
Okay, Jarad. Okay. All right. So 1, 2, 3. What's up, everybody? You might be listening to this right now, and yes, Talk the Real Deal with AT2 is now back, and I'm happy to have a returning guest. I would say season 3, season 4, season 5, but I've been gone for so long. This is the relaunch. And I'm happy to have my boy Jarad here in the building. Say what's up to the people.
Hey, what's going on, people? How y'all doing, man? What's up? What's up?
And also, for those of y'all, I don't know where I'm going to post this, but y'all can see us visually. So what's up to everybody? Deuces, everybody, what's up? I'm glad y'all can see us. We always upgrading around here. Audio, visual, all that good stuff.
That's it. Always getting better. Always improving.
Right. And I like your lights in the back. I like the red background too.
Yeah, man, I had to throw a little flavor on it, man. I was like, his colors is red, so I'm gonna throw some red back there and just
right. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
So let's go ahead and get started. I want to do a couple of icebreakers. So first, I want to this was kind of inspired by Big Brother. I'm a fan of the show, and on the live feeds, what they do sometimes is they say goodnight to the people. We just started, so we ain't saying goodnight, but they do a song suggestion. So I wanted to go ahead and ask you, what would be your song of the day?
Oh, all right. So this is going to sound a little crazy. And the artwork of this song is going to look a little crazy. So
okay.
Just give the track an opportunity to be played before y'all just knock this track. I promise you, 45 seconds into the track, y'all gonna be like, that man Jarad knows what he's talking about when it comes to music. Okay. The name of the track is called Day and Night, and it's by this, I don't know if it's a group or a dude, but the name of the artist is Dabuell. It's Dabull.
Dabull.
Dabuell.
EULL.
Yes.
Okay. I got my phone right here. Are they on like Spotify?
Yeah. They.
Okay, let me look that up right. And Day and Night, right?
Day and night, yeah. And I think the and is like not the word and, it's like the little squiggly shift 7.
Okay. Okay, I found it. All right. I just wanted to save it so then I can have it on here, but I found it on Spotify. Cool.
You see the artwork, right?
Yeah, I see the artwork. I was gonna, what's that damn group called? He kind of looks like the guy from why can I think? Another one bite the dust.
Yeah, I know you're talking about, but I don't know.
Yeah, I can't think of his name, but he kind of looks like that though. So I'm like, okay, I'm down for this. Okay.
Yeah. That's something different. That's something that's just for AT2, by the way. Listen, when we talked about this, I was like, what am I gonna hit him with? I know what I'm gonna hit him with. I'm gonna hit him with that track. So that's just for you, man.
Okay, cool. You know what the funny part is? Mine is kind of like a throwback to a conversation that we had a long time ago on the show. Remember when we were talking about Rick Ross, right? And I was all like, yo, my favorite song is and like Yuki Trio was like, what?
Yes.
Huh? And like y'all were like this. I was like, what song?
What is he doing? What is he talking about?
So,
what?
Right.
Only you, bro. Only you.
So my song recommendation is Rick Ross featuring Nelly. Here I Am. If y'all listen to this, y'all know what I mean. When y'all get to the chorus, you're like, oh, I know what song.
The fact that you even have a song being featuring Nelly, bro, is wild to me in 2022. Like, that's nutty, bro. Listen, this is what happens, man. I get on podcasts and people say things like this, and then I look like a villain. Nelly? 2020 Nelly? Oh my gosh, man. Shout out to Nelly, by the way.
You always got on me for my music choices because I want to say, I don't know if it was like a Little Kim song or a Little Kim mixtape, but I was like, yeah, you heard that new Little Kim? And you was like, what?
Bro, yeah, bro. It was an album. It was an album that she dropped or something like that. You was like, yeah, you heard the new Little Kim album? It's like, it's 2019, bro. Like, no, I didn't. I did not. I don't want to hear nothing from that woman at this point in my life. Like, I'm sorry. See, once again, man, this is what y'all do, man.
This whole thing is a setup.
Oh my gosh, man. I'm a man of God now.
But you know what? You with your podcast, you guys did talk about music a lot. Like, where'd your passion for music come from?
I think that it comes from, hip hop especially is super competitive. You know what I mean? It's almost like when I guess barbershop talk, right? If you talk about barbershop talk, you either arguing about who's the GOAT in like basketball, football, or who's the GOAT in music. Like it's one or the other. And so, I used to have like passionate conversations, but then people would like put me on to stuff in those conversations. Like, man, you don't even know why you like that song. Let's talk about a Jay-Z song. You don't even know why you like that song. What is it called? Jay-Z, The Rule Is Back or something like that. It's the first track off the Blueprint album. And it's like, a lot of that comes from Slick Rick. And Slick Rick got a track called The Ruler's Back. And Jay-Z took a lot of that from that particular track. And so you start having a greater appreciation for what the originators of where that stuff came from. And so, I even like, the Beyonce album that just came out, it's a lot of samples in that album. Right. I mean, it's like obviously like Beyonce is Beyonce. Like you're not gonna be able to do what, even if you take the samples, you put any other vocalist on it. I'm not about to get killed by the Beehive. I'm not. That's not gonna happen. But
we love the Beehive. We don't want to get. We don't.
I love Beyonce. I just mentioned two of my favorite artists. Jay-Z is my favorite artist of all time. He's married to Beyonce, so I'm mentioning like two tops. But a lot of people don't know really where the samples came from. They don't even know why they like the beat. You know what I mean? the beat came from somewhere else. And so going back and like learning about that. And then there's a lot of history. There's a lot of like, you know, especially in Black culture, there's a lot of like overcoming in that, where, you know, a lot of Elvis songs that, you know, got revered are like created by Black people.
Right.
Like, and you get, yeah, like it's so many things that like, it's so much history, it's so much richness to it, it's expression. Like sports, it's not really like personal expression. It's just like dominance, right? It's like physical dominance. Right. When you get into like music, it's like he's like this woman, Deborah Cox, like nobody's supposed to be here. Like she's singing her soul out, bro.
That's true.
I don't know what's going on, but she got something going on, and she put it in that 4 minutes of work. And that's something that's always going to be revered, and it's something that's always going to resonate with people because it's real emotion. And so that's why I love music so much. It's especially when it's real emotion, it's raw. But it's done in a way that's tasteful. It's done in a way that's artistic. It's done in a way that's creative, and it creates moments in time where, you know, I remember when I first heard that song. I remember where I was. I remember what I had on. I remember who was with me. I remember how I felt. You know what I mean? Like there's no other piece of artwork that kind of encompasses all of that. And so that's kind of what my love for music is. That's kind of where it's at for me. Like it's so many moments where music has been attached to it. It's just like, dang on, like it'd have been whack if the music wasn't playing.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? So
imagine a world without music. Like I don't think that's possible.
Yeah, there's no way, man. We wouldn't be able to cope, man. It's so many things that music does. Music is therapy. Music will drive people insane. I mean, there's so many different things that people do, and that's just like, and then you get, that's just like the art of music. Then you get into like sound theory and sound design, and like even like that's what I'm kind of inching myself into more lately. And it's so many things. There's so many sounds and frequencies we don't hear. There's so many frequencies that relax us. There's frequencies that drive us to like intense levels. And so it's so many just things audibly that we hear that it's just like, yo, that's deep. You know what I mean? There's a reason why 808s resonate with us the way that 808s resonate with us. Like there's a reason for that. Scientifically. So it's just stuff like that, man.
Right. And music can really set like a whole mood, and like it can really change the aspect of something. That's why they have it in movies all the time, you know, like it sets that scene, it sets the mood, it gets you involved with it. It helps tell the story. Like it's so much that music does, you know?
Yeah, man. Music will make you want to rob somebody, and then you hit next, and then you about to seduce your woman, boy, in like 5 minutes.
Right, 5 minutes span.
You done changed total moves, bro. Just turn us a little jazz. You straight. So yeah, man.
Right. I did want to talk about a project that you were working on. It was the NFT, correct?
Yeah, I did. I bought some NFTs last year. I wasn't really working on a project per se. I am blessed enough to have disposable income to test things and play with things. And so I'm a dabbler, as you probably can tell by now. Like I feel like you followed me long enough to know Jarad is a person that dabbles. Like I'm over here now. Okay, cool. I've dabbled enough in that. I've tasted enough. Let me come over here. Oh, this is kind of cool. All right, let me see what this NFT thing is. So, I went out, I got, I guess, what was it, Coinbase. Then I went to the Meta wallet and, bought some NFTs just to kind of see how it went, what was all included with it. I'm still sitting on both of them. I don't even know what they're worth at this point, if they're worth anything at this point. The part that I didn't like was that I had to pay gas to sell it too. Like, I'm like, hold on, what? I got to pay to sell it too? Like, I had to pay gas to buy it. Yeah, like those are the things that they don't tell you when you get an NFT. So you have to buy like gas to process the payment, and it's all in Ethereum, right? So you paying the gas was like $150. Like the gas wasn't a little bit of money.
Oh.
So I went ahead, I bought it. Okay, cool. Da, 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 da. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and buy a second one real quick because gas prices was down. It's like you really like looking at the gas price. Like you, all right, hurry up and buy, hurry up and buy. Like, okay, the gas prices is down. So, I went ahead, I bought two. I was like, oh, these things might go. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Or, I may keep one and I may sell the other. And then I was like, hold on, it's gonna cost me $150 to sell it too, like just for the gas alone, and then there's processing and all that sort of stuff. I'm like, I'll just take this L. And then a year later, like I don't think nobody's even talking about NFTs at this point. Like nobody, it's not even like something that's high on my radar anymore. I know Gary Vee still is, but he's like the only person in the world.
Yeah, I think he's like the only person.
Yeah,
but I remember everybody was coming out with their own NFTs and stuff like that, and then it like died down. It was like, what happened? That's why I wanted to ask you about it, and I'm glad you mentioned like you got to pay for gas for it. Like what? Like
yeah, man,
it's a virtual thing.
Yeah, like it's I guess it's like I guess the gas is like processing, but they refer to it as gas, and
Right.
and those prices fluctuate like crazy depending upon when you buy them. But those are the things that like I said, I have the benefit of like having disposable income to try these things out and then be able to like actually speak to them, because a lot of people are just like, oh yeah, you should go get an NFT. You should go get an NFT. Have you ever bought an NFT? No, I haven't bought an NFT. So you're telling me that I should go do something that you've never done before? Yeah. Okay. And where did you hear this at? You heard it from like some rich guy who's selling NFTs?
Who has the money,
Or who's selling them? Like, oh yeah, if you go to a car sales, if you go to a car lot, the car salesman is going to be like, oh yeah, we can get you approved, no problem. They don't tell you how many times they're about to run your credit. They don't tell you how many times you're about to get denied and the interest rate about to be crazy. But the only thing you know is you about to get this car. So they don't tell you all of the implications that could come if you don't get approved, and all those hits on your credit start to drop your credit score.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. So
and they run it again too.
Yeah, they just keep running. Hey, do it again. We didn't get approved here. Run it again. You didn't get approved here. Run it again. Like, bro, this is my credit you messing up, bro. And you just sitting there. They jacked it up the next 3 years of your life. So it is what it is, man. It's the American way.
Right. Hey, it is how it is, It's crazy thinking about that too, because it's like a lot of times like you'll get hit up with like business proposals and like, oh, you really need to get into this or get into that, but people really don't either do a couple of things. One, they haven't done it themselves, like we talked about. Secondly, they don't give you any information on how to go about it. And thirdly, they don't tell you everything about it. So when you get into it, sometimes, you done dived in and now you're trying to backpedal and get out, but you too far in,
You wasted a lot of time. You wasted a lot of money. Somebody made some money off you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You feel taken advantage of. There's a lot of things that gotta go into like this, like selling the American dream is one of the biggest money makers in America. Like, people think that, oh man, you gotta look fresh. You gotta drive a foreign vehicle. You gotta have, the Balenciaga, whatever. You gotta have this drip and this thing and that thing, and you gotta have a new iPhone or the new Android. Like you gotta have a MacBook. You got it's so many different things that everybody tells you have to have either to make it or to be happy. And it's like, even if we get into business or something like that, people be like, yeah, man. Or let's just talk about music, right? Like, oh man, what microphone is T-Pain using? Well, T-Pain's using this microphone. So, you go out and you spend all this money on this microphone that T-Pain has, right? And then you take it home, you connect it. You're like, well, what plugs is he using to connect it? Like you're doing everything outside of like actually working on your voice. Like we have so much respect for like the tools, and we don't have respect for like the work ethic. We don't have respect for like
knowledge too.
Right. Like we don't have, like, those are the things where it's like, And so when when your expectations aren't met by the reality, you feel like you've been duped. Right. And because a lot of it, we don't get to see that T-Pain's been working on his voice for T-Pain's my age, the last 30 years. We don't get to see that. We don't get to see all the times where his music is trash, and we only get to hear, 100 of the 10,000 tracks that he created over his lifetime, because those other 9,900 aren't they're just not good enough. Those types of things. So it's a real tough space to be in right now, especially for young people, because they're so impatient and everything's so immediate, and everything's done. A lot of stuff is done electronically, automated in today's world now. So it's like, oh, I could just run it through this. I could just put this app on it, and it's gonna sound great. So
right, it's not somebody actually doing the work. You can put it through a system that already does it for you, and you're like, oh, well, shit. Right. Now anybody can do it. That's kind of how people have that perception, like, oh, anybody can do this now.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, it's interesting, man.
We lose that certain knowledge that people have to be able to create, because everything is so given to us now.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of the reason why, and it's also, I guess, it's also like a push for like pace of content, right? Like, everybody wants to put stuff out fast and frequently. And so, I'm only speaking to music at this point, but it's like you don't take the time to learn music theory. You don't take the time to learn like syncopation and why different timbres and space is important, and rest and things like that. And so, everyone's like, oh, this is microwave rap. Well, it is, because the expectation is I'm about to run it through these plugins, and then I hit distribute, and then it's out on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. Where back in the day it was like, record it again. All right, let's move the mic over here. Let's adjust this and slide this up and back up a little bit and create. All of those things were happening, and then it got to a mixer because it had to get to a mixer. It wasn't an option. We all analog. So it's just stuff like that where some of the knowledge, like you're saying, is just lost in the art, because a lot of the stuff where the knowledge is based in plugins or electronics are doing it.
Right. And I think also too, trends. Now music is more trendy. That's why everybody sound the same. Everybody kind of follows. Even different genres follow the same kind of methods and trends. Now the big thing is that you have to get your song trending on TikTok, or they won't even put a music video out for you now.
So let me ask you this then. Mm-hmm. What industry isn't trendy at this point?
That's a very good question. It's all trendy. I mean, that's how a song gets played. It's trendy. Everybody likes it, But I even felt like back in I can't say back in the day. I'll say the 90s. Music all kind of had the same kind of flavor. Like, for example, New Jack Swing. When you hear a song, New Jack Swing song, it has the same. The same bass line, same melody and stuff like that. However, it seemed like the songs had individuality. Now it doesn't. Like, I can put on, I can play the top 40 radio, and each song will sound similar to each other in a way.
I agree. No, but I guess what I'm saying is that, so like we just talked about microwave music, right? Mm-hmm. Microwave music, fast fashion. A lot of cars are designing themselves to look like Teslas and be like Teslas. Like it doesn't really matter at this point what the industry is, because everybody's basing what they create in business by what's getting clicks, what people are buying, because we have all that data in like real time now. So, to be really unique is to kind of be unique, to not pay attention to what's going on. And I think that's why I sent you that track. Like, even the track that I sent you, like, nobody's even heard of that guy before. Most people haven't heard of that guy before. So it's going to sound, you're going to bump it, you're going to like it. You're not going to play it often because it's just not going to fit into a lot of the circumstances that you're in. But it's going to be like, oh, this is refreshing. this is different. This is something that's familiar enough that I can get with it, but it's new enough to where it's like it doesn't sound like, you know, a Jack Harlow or a Dua Lipa or some, or you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't sound like that. And so those are like, but that's just what's happening now. And it does, like I said, doesn't matter what industry it is, as far as business is concerned. Banks are, you know, if you know, T-Mobile, when T-Mobile decided not to do contracts anymore, AT&T, Sprint, Verizon jumped right on that trend. There's just everything is just so trendy right now, man. It's just it's starting to create even like logos, right? Like business logos, they all starting to look the same. So
yeah, that's true too. And you know, and I think also too is that companies already spend a lot of money. And then this is just in general, spend a lot of money. And so they probably don't want to take certain risks because they want that return on investment. So what they'll do is just kind of hop on a trend, whether it's music, cars, whatnot, just so they can know, like, okay, well, I'm going to get some kind of return because this is what everybody's doing and this is what everybody likes. So I'm just going to keep on mass reproducing this and have everybody do the same thing. So I get it and understand it from a business aspect, but we would all like to see something new and something different.
I mean, I will say this though. I mean, like the biggest acts albums this year. If you think about like a Beyonce, you think about a J. Cole, you think about a Kendrick, those all have been like creative, stepping out of the bubble. I mean, Kendrick's album sound.
I love his album.
Like it just sounded like nothing like what I was expecting at all. Like I was listening to this album, like this man has lost his mind.
Right.
Like I felt triggered in a lot of ways. It made me feel something that I wasn't expecting to feel, and it took me to a lot of child trauma scenarios where it was just like, whoa, like I didn't even remember that scenario. But now that I'm listening to this, once again, like music has that, but his music is unique enough. He's always been that guy to like kind of like step out and do something different. And so, you know, but you know, I guess at the same time, there's appreciation for that. So, but it's not like top 40. Like he's gonna probably win a Grammy for that, but he's not gonna be in the top 40 for that. Not for a long period of time. Not like a Drake or something like that. Drake stuff is way more digestible.
Right. Drake puts out anything and people live. Well, except this like last album that he mixtape or whatever he dropped, a lot of people didn't like that one. I only listened to a couple of songs and I was done with that one. But you know, with Kendrick, like I felt like it was almost like you were in kind of like a movie or something. Like I would love like the album, not only criticism would that the album should have been like a whole visual album, you know, like it almost felt like you was like in a movie or he was taking you through an experience or something. It was just cool though and just dope the way he did it, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Every track offered something. That's how music used to be. Every track was important. Like the body of work, the whole album. Because now it's singles. Who has the hottest single? The rest of the album is trash. But as long as you got a couple of singles, you got the best album of the year.
That's it. Oh, you got a song like a trend on TikTok? You winning. So
right.
It's interesting, man. So
right. I agree with you on that. Definitely. Well, you know what? I was just thinking about something, not to change the subject, but I believe the last time I had you on the podcast, you weren't married. So definitely, I already said congratulations, but congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, man. It's funny, man. Right before I met my wife, I had a conversation with Katrina. And I was like, I think I'm chilling for a little while, man. I ain't messing around with these girls in Atlanta no more, man. I'm gonna get focused, man. Focus on my money, you know what I'm saying? On my son. And then like I started like, you know what I'm saying? Like I started like posting stuff on Facebook, like, you know, I'm taking a break, like real, like I ain't married none of these hoes. And like bro, I was hurt, bro. And then I met her and it was just like, she the one, she's it. So we got married February 27th, 2020. So we got married like 2 weeks before COVID, before COVID hit. Yeah. So our whole marriage has been in this, 3-bedroom apartment and getting real comfortable or real uncomfortable or, angsty or whatever with one another. She still hasn't killed me yet. She still hasn't wanted to kill me yet. So that's a win. But I learned a lot about her. I learned a lot about myself in these last few years. And it's been awesome, man. It's been great. I recommend marriage for anybody who's ready for it. And you have to find the right partner. You gotta be ready and you gotta find the right partner. But it's, like anything else, man, it's got its ups, it's got its downs, it's got its, peaks and valleys. And you just gotta ride those rides sometimes, man. You just gotta sit back and just work through them. But thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the first time I ever heard anybody say that. I recommend marriage. Because usually when people talk about marriage, they're like, oh, don't do it or wait. And, they kind of give you like advice on like, oh, well, do this instead or something to that effect. But you said, I recommend marriage. And automatically that hit me like, whoa, I've never heard anybody say that. Like, that is dope.
Like, could you imagine somebody in your corner every day for the rest of your life? Like, why wouldn't somebody recommend that? like why is that a negative thing to wake up in the morning and like looking at that person and being like, yo, we ready to do this day together every day? You know what I'm saying? I think that we kind of get wrapped up in the idea of what marriage should be or could be. And it's unique to everybody. Like my marriage shouldn't look like your marriage. And it doesn't have to be, but y'all got to figure out what's going to work for the two of y'all. And like, it's just a team thing, man. It's like sometimes, if you think about basketball, like sometimes LeBron James shots ain't falling in. So somebody else got to make them shots. Like, and that's okay. As long as we get the win, it's okay. It doesn't matter who has the most points at the end of the game. Right. And I think that we get tapped into like, she needs to cook and I need to be the money maker and this needs to happen and that needs to happen on this side. And it's like, nah, bro, like you just need to do whatever needs to be done. Like, and love doing it. You know what I mean? Like we have a thing where we try to outserve one another. like who could take care of the other person better? Like, why? Like, it's beautiful. Like if you're doing that, bro, like I recommend that to anybody, everybody. If you can find a person that's going to try to outserve you to you, like I like what's better than that, bro? Like I wake up in the morning, you know what I'm saying? We walk together, we go on walks together, we pray together, we give up things like, is this mature? Is this a mature audience?
Oh yeah, it's mature.
All right. You know what I'm saying? Like sexually, like, what do you need? What do I need? Just however we need to serve each other. Foot massages, you know what I'm saying? Like anything. It's like, oh, you need a break on the child. Here, tag me in. All right, cool. All right, listen, I got to jump back out, so you got to jump back in. But I had you for those. It's stuff like that. It's just somebody else got your back, bro. It's nothing like it in the world, man.
Yo, that is dope. And you know what the crazy part is too? Because you always heard about like marriages, like going through the struggle and stuff like that during the panorama. And you guys got married a couple of weeks before everything got locked down. And so y'all had no choice but to, work it out and go through a hard time, which all of us went through a hard time during the last couple of years. We've been dealing with this and really holding each other down. And I think that's so dope,
Yeah, I mean, I think that, it's also perspective, man. I remember, a lot of people doing a lot of finger pointing during the pandemic. And that included like even in this house, right? Like I try to be objective when I even like, we talk about like last time, like the reparations, and I teeter-totter on fences and things like that, and people generally don't like what I have to say because I try to be super objective, right? So we had some things happen. People said some things. You had George Floyd happening around that time. We're in Atlanta. Like there's a lot of like mess. There's a lot of mess going on. And but our situation was unique in the sense to where my job immediately was like, go home and work from home. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have to go into the office. I didn't get a pay cut. I didn't get like nothing negative happen in our world. And we got this, stay actually, like quarantine. Where people were like, people started to do Uber. People still were doing Lyft to make their money. People were like people had to leave the house to go make money, but we could stay in and still make money. And so it's easy to look on the outside and be like, I don't know why they out here doing this, that, and the third. Well, they doing that because that's what they got to do to survive.
Right.
You know what I mean? So everything is about perspective. And so, a lot of the marriage that we gone through, a lot of things we gone through was like, sometimes I'm just not seeing things from her perspective. I'm like, yo, you just don't get it. She's like, you just don't get it. We're not like trying to understand one another. We're just trying to be understood. And so, that's a big part of like any relationship. That's not a marriage thing. That's any relationship. Like, you want to be understood. You want to be heard. You want to be recognized. That's a human thing. It starts when you're a child. And it doesn't go away. And so you just create those types of environments for one another as well. You learn the person's love language. For her, it might be gifts, it might be acts of service. Me, don't give me a gift. It's cool, but I can get kind of whatever I want to get. But if you tell me I'm doing a good job, oh, Jerry, you're doing an awesome job, man. A word? Right. For real, I'm doing good. You know what I'm saying, bro? You give me, bro. That's what I'm learning about men. Most men are like, you give us affirmation, man. You tell us we doing a good job. That's all we need. So true. It's stuff like that like when you learn that and you tell the person that and they actually start to do that stuff, that's where like marriage is really magical. Where it's like, yo, I used to like shower me with gifts and those are great, but that's not like how I really feel your love. Just tell me I'm doing a good job. Tell me man, you fixed the hell out of that sink today. You know what I'm saying? You got that thing working, man. Man, you drove so well today. You know what I'm saying? You maneuvered that turn. Like, gas me up a little bit, boost my ego a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just stuff like that you kind of, that's the hard part, is listening, learning, and applying that stuff, man. So it's like I said, bro, if you find a person, I tell people all the time, you find a person that you want to give that to, you want to get better for, I highly recommend marriage. I also highly recommend premarital counseling. Like, definitely go through that as well.
Okay. Yeah. Did you go through that as well? Premarital.
So this is my second marriage. People who don't know. I'm not a serial husband. So don't think that, like I said, I was scoring for a little. I was hurt. My heart was hurt. I'm a hopeless romantic. But the first time I did not, and the second time we did. And there's a lot of things that I learned in pre-married for the second marriage that would have better prepared me for the first one. It's conversations that you have. There's, it might be cultural differences even. Like, yo, how in your house, how did you grow up? How do we expect to raise the kids? Are we gonna be super strict? Are we gonna spank? Are we, all of those conversations happen in pre-marriage. You're like, well, why? Because if we're not on the same page about how we're gonna even reprimand our children, we about to really, it's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. So it's just stuff like that you kind of iron out some of the details and you kind of decide and agree upon things before saying I do.
Right. And, living with people, because I moved out of my home when I was 23, had my own place up until last year. My family member was all like, hey, I have a home, you want to move in, you pay your portion of the rent. And I was like, oh, cool, and I was totally down for it. It makes it a lot easier. And then I even got a chance to move back to the Bay Area where I was from. And so, this has been a blessing, but I do miss having my own, because I feel like the way I live is right compared to everybody else. I feel like everybody else is living incorrectly, and I'm living correct.
Hold on, wait. Time out. Wait, time out. All right, so tell me 3 examples about how you're living the correct way, and 3 examples of how everybody else is living incorrectly.
Okay. So I can give you 3 examples. Okay, 1. Like when it comes to house supplies, like I'm the kind of person like, oh, toilet paper is getting low. Let me go ahead and get some toilet paper, paper towels, toothpaste, like the home necessities and like stuff to clean the home with. Like those are things that I just automatically know, where other people are slow to react to it or never get to it. And so like, okay, well, I guess I gotta handle this. You know what I mean?
All right, hold on. All right, so let me pose this question for you real quick. That's just one. So you still got 2 more, but I'm gonna pose a question. I feel like I'm interviewing you now. So is the person you're living with a guy?
Yes.
All right, that's all we need to know. Keep going. For ladies out there, AT2 is going to make sure that the details are taken care of. Most men aren't doing that. I'm just letting y'all know AT2 is doing that though. Right? What's number 2? So you look, he's already an anomaly out here in these streets. What's number 2?
Right. Number 2, being able to take care of things like as far as like the home, like say for example, the dishwasher goes out or any kind of appliances or something like that. I'm on it trying to get that handled and trying to get that fixed. We all get a little lazy. We might got a leak in the sink. You might let it go, just put a little bucket underneath or something like that. But when it gets to the point where it's all like, oh no, shit ain't working, like I gotta get on it and get it done and get it fixed. And it was easier when I had an apartment because you just call the maintenance.
Right.
You got to do that shit yourself. It's a lot different.
It is. It's definitely a lot different. Okay, so wait. So now what we just found out was not only is AT2 going to make sure that the details and stuff is taken care of, y'all well stocked. He keep inventory. Operations, he got it. Secondly, this man is a handyman. That man said I could actually fix the sink. When I was talking about how good of a job I did fixing the sink earlier, that was a fictional situation. I'm not fixing any sinks. I'm just letting everybody know. So he up 2 in the game. What's the third one?
Third one. Oh, what's the third one? Well, I kind of think the third one kind of goes hand in hand, but like, because that kind of goes with cleaning. Because I was going to say, like, okay, so I'll cook, right?
Yeah.
And like, I'll leave the food out. Now, what I expect is that when everyone comes home, whoever's the last person will put the food up.
Okay.
And I just always was raised like that. Okay, when it gets like a certain time or it gets nighttime, put the food up, like put it in the Tupperware, whatever, put it in the fridge.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that same mindset because I'll wake up in like the morning or something like that. And I'm like, oh, the food's still out. Like nobody put that shit up. Like it's like common sense things that other people, I feel like they don't have, So
this man is keeping inventory. He's a handyman, and he's taking initiative on things.
Yes. Oh, I like that initiative.
He's taking initiative on things. Let me tell you something, man. Knocking it out the park, bro. If y'all not sliding his DMs by now, right. I don't know what it is y'all got going on, bro.
I just got a message in my DM.
Hey, listen, just like that. You know what I'm saying? Just like that. You're right. But we have to understand that, like, I'm a part of a mentor group this year, and we're reading like a lot of like men books, like powerful healing of the masculine soul is one of them. The Measure of a Man is another one. Like powerful books that talk about some of the things that we're lacking in as a gender, and it's not like, and it's culturally, it's not like, I'm sorry, it's not culturally, it's like all men, it's like black men, white men, it doesn't matter. Right. There's things that are not happening anymore. There's no like rites of passage like how it used to be. There's no man recognizing you to be a man because you have certain characteristics anymore. So I say all of that to say, you're comparing somebody, or you're the reality and your expectation is where you have the conflict, the distance between the two. That is what conflict is. Conflict is the reality and the expectation and the space between the two. And it's just a perfect example. If we say, hey man, I'm gonna meet you here at 8:00 and I get there at 8:05, the gap when there is like 5 minutes. So you're not gonna be mad. You're not gonna be mad. If I get there at 8:15, you're gonna be a little more frustrated. If I get there at 9:00, you're gonna be pissed off. And the only thing that's really no more. And the only thing that's really changed is what? The distance between reality and your expectation. Right. And so you gotta have conversations with that person. Hopefully their behavior will change. If it doesn't, then you just can't teach everybody. But those are kind of things that me and my wife had to talk about. Those are like the differences, the conflict, how we resolve conflict resolution. All of those things are going to help out. So it's remember
how to live with someone.
Even that, right? Like you kind of got to learn to be a little bit more flexible in how you're living, because not everybody's brought up the same way you are. So, but that's dope, man. I'm glad that you are back in the Bay Area. Shout out to the Bay Area, man. Y'all just won another NBA championship.
Yeah. And I went to Wright too. This is my first year going.
Oh, that's what's up, man. You see, I'm representing my ATL today, MLK, but it got the Hawks right there. It's low key. But yeah, man. Shout out to the Warriors and everybody out there in the
Warriors.
All right, relax, man. Relax.
But yo, I think that's my last time going to the parade, because my feet was hurting, and like it was so many different people. And you gotta remember, like, this is post Panorama, so it was like everybody and their mama, and like just close quarters, and like, and I'll be honest, since COVID and stuff like that, when I get in large crowds, I get kind of nervous. Like I'll be all like, oh shit, like, you know, what's that? Because it seems like whenever like people don't have a mask on, and you know, I'm not, and I don't wear mine all the time, I admit that. But it always seems like when you don't have yours, you get people coughing, chew, and chew, and chew. And I'm like, damn, like, come on, man.
Hold on, wait. Are you a mask Nazi?
I might be. I might be. Where am I at?
Dang, go.
Like, when I have mine on, that's when people want to cough, sneeze, spit, like, get away.
That's hilarious, man. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, man. I just had it for the first time 2 weeks ago, man.
Oh, wow. I'm glad you got past it. Are you good now?
Yeah. The Lord always on my side, man. But it's you know, my ex-wife, she decided that she wanted to send my son back to school physically. And I was like, you know what? We don't need to do that. You know what I'm saying? Our jobs still let us work from home. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to do this. Hey, listen, if he get COVID, I'm blaming you. There's literally a conversation I had with her like 6 months ago. Bro, first week of school, bro. He brings it to the house, bro. I'm like, bro.
Oh no.
You gotta be kidding me.
That's
so
where you got it from.
Yeah. So you know, now she's super, super like vigilant again, and this, that, and the third. I'm like, nah, you're like, you don't have to be that vigilant, but we probably shouldn't have sent him back to school. Just because, you know, he has autism, he's not really checking for like, you know, keeping his mask up and like washing his hands properly. Like kids is nasty, man. Adults are nasty, but like kids, adults are nasty.
Worse than the kids.
and not everybody treats it the same. I think that's the main thing, is not everybody has the same level of caution when it comes to like COVID and things like that. And so to have the expectation that his teachers were going to, or that everybody in his class was going to have the same level of caution, it just wasn't proper expectations set, and perceived thought. Once again, the difference between reality and expectation is where we have conflict. So
right. It's even crazy that you mentioned that, because in California, depending on where you go, it's different. Like when I'm here in the Bay Area, people, even though we don't have a mandate, people still wear their masks. But when I go to the Valley, in the Central Valley, it's a free for all out there. Like they don't give a damn.
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't even think they was wearing it even then when everything was going on. So to see it now to where people in the Bay Area, like, and it's a because Bay Area includes Oakland, San Francisco, Berkeley, Hayward, all that stuff. Yep. So people are still wearing their masks because it's so many people out here, and so you just never know. And then now they got the monkeypox, and like,
bro,
don't know.
Yeah, people. If you was not worried about dying, you worried about being ugly, and so if this is. Hopefully people respect monkeypox a little bit more than they respect COVID in some cases. But it's wild, man. It's wild out here in the streets, for sure.
Right. Yeah, you just have to be careful, really. But since the last couple of years, what else has been going on besides getting married?
I think the main thing, the major difference, and you can probably tell it in my communication, is that I'm much more in tune with like God, and like, and that kind of so that's been way more apparent in my life. And it's created a level of peace that I can't really describe.
That's dope. So was it, is it a more recent thing, or is it just that your connection with God got deeper?
So when I met my wife now, one of her parents and her requirements was that I go to church. Like they were like, well, they were like, hey, nice to meet you. That's great. You're a great guy. You're smart. What's your relationship with God though?
Oh, that question always awkward for me.
And I'm like, he cool. You know what I'm saying? He's straight. You know what I'm saying?
He my homie.
You know what I'm saying? He cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I also was like cognizant of the fact that, like, if I look back on my life, a lot of things that I've been privy to, or a lot of opportunities that have been extended to me, don't make any sense from like a worldly perspective. So like the job that I had when I was working, years ago when we were doing the podcast, I was working at Sprint, and I was a marketing manager. Mm-hmm. I had Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia. Like I was the marketing manager for all 3 states. I had 55 stores. I don't have a marketing degree. Matter of fact, I don't have any degree, period. Right? So it's like, how? I didn't have the years experience. I didn't have any of the things that were like required of the job, but I somehow got the job. I think back to even how I have the job now. Now I'm a risk. So I was in marketing. Now I'm a risk banking vice president at the 7th largest bank in the country. Once again, I don't have a degree. I don't have anything that any of my peers have at this level. I don't have any of those things. So who was ordering my steps? Because it can't be me. And so, when you create and you have that relationship and you start to appreciate, you start to see things happening in your life, you're like, now that's got to be from somebody else. It's got to be from somewhere else. And you start to have a level of like obligation to performing well, but also an obligation to like other people to teach them how to get to what it is you've gotten to. And some of that stuff, some of the things are just, they just don't apply to me. Like, oh man, yeah, you're probably gonna have to go out and get a degree. That didn't apply to me, but that's probably something you're going to have to do. But when you get there, you know, I can introduce you to people. I can train you. I can train you up now. Maybe you don't need to get the degree, but most people are going to need this degree. So on and so forth. And so, you know, even like, you know, I just said my son is autistic. My mom passed away. We're going to get real personal and deep for a second. My mom passed away in 2001. And when she passed away, I moved in with my uncle, who I didn't really have a relationship with at all. And his son was autistic. And so my mom passing allowed me to live with somebody for some years who had autism, which better prepared me 20 years later to be a dad of a child with autism. And so when you start to have big vision pictures about how things work out in your life, there's somebody else that's in charge. And so even when things happen negatively, like my mom passing away, that didn't happen to me. That happened for me so that I could be a better father to my son. And there's other things that, like, you know, there's other, you know, things that could have happened and positive things that could have happened. It sucks, right? Like, would I trade my mom? Would I trade my mom to have that? No, like, I want my mom back, but that's just not my story. And so, you know, we have things that just happen and you just got to be obedient, man. And so I just wake up in the morning and be like, God, you know, hey, babe, we about to do this day today. Yeah, we about to do this day today. All right, cool. Let's see what God got for us. And then that's it, bro. So it's just a different level of peace, man. It's just like, I'm just chilling, bro.
Like that connection that you made, like these things that I have or the knowledge that I gained, like it was beyond me of how I got it and why it happened. And I wouldn't even have thought about that connection, but that's so true, from your mom passing and then you moving in with your uncle to the lifestyle that you have. Like none of that happened by chance. Like it was something working beyond you, helping you along, and you didn't even realize it until probably now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I could be, you know, 1,000% wrong, but that's just how I think. I think that's just my way of thinking, right? Like, I haven't had a God conversation for him to confirm any of this information, but you know, just think about your life and some of the things that you've overcome and some of the situations you're like, daggone, like, I don't know how I got through that. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way in my will that I would be able to get through that. And so now when I deal with anything, it's like what could be against me that I can't get through at this point in my life. So it's so that's been a lot of like, so between that, the mentoring program, dealing with like just, you know, just men stuff, masculine soul stuff, dealing with like being in a hurry all the time. So like, you know, we drive and like, or we'll be at the supermarket. You'll be like, all right, there's 5 people in that aisle. There's 4 people in this one. Let me go over here and run. We'll run over an old lady to get like to gain 30 seconds. Like for what? For like, for what? For why? Like why? You know, everything, even like from a sense of like, you know, like, hey man, how you doing, man? I just been busy. Like everybody says, I just been busy. Like that's not a badge of honor. Like being busy is not a badge of honor. Like when do you rest? I don't really rest, but I hustle all the time. You know, we're not really designed to do that. Like we're not people of like, we're not workers. You know what I mean? We're not worker bees.
Your body needs rest.
So it's like, it's stuff like so you find those little things and you start to apply those things to your life, and you just have a different level of just calmness. And like anything that happens now is just like, okay, all right, cool. Let's see what happens. And then usually just get handled in like a day or so. It's like, all right, cool.
Right. You'll get to it when you get to it, but it's no rush.
It's not even like I get to when I get to it. It's gonna handle itself. It's gonna take care of itself, bro. It's everything. Everything is so automated when you get to operate in that way, because you don't feel the pressure of, and it's not saying I'm not perfect. I don't do it all the time. So like, it was so funny. I'll tell you a story. So I wanted to get this job like recently, right? So I'm like doing all this stuff. I'm like calling this person, getting this referral, getting this thing, making this thing happen, calling this person. And like all of this stuff I'm doing. And like, I'm thinking it's going to be better this way. And it was something else happening. And it ended up being way better than what I could have thought of, because it was the person that Like I knew the person who had the job before me, but and he gave me the referral, but I was wanting a higher referral. But that referral was actually the one that I needed, but I didn't think that I needed it. But that's the one that I got. And so I'm sitting over here like, dang, I ain't even get the referral that I wanted. God, like, bro, you got the right one, bro. Just chill.
Right.
Just
the
chill.
person who previously had the job, that was the best one.
You already got the best one, and you worried about getting this one. Like, just chill. I got you. I got you. So just operating in that space regularly is always a challenge, but I'm working on that still. So that's if anything as big has happened, has been that the new job. So I was working in financial crimes, I think, when we talked last, and I was working in anti-money laundering and crime fighting and all this other type of stuff. And they shifted me out of there and had me take over this risk management position. So anything that happens at the bank now has to go through me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And we look at
VP too, right?
I got an officer title of vice president, so that's kind of dope. But I'm responsible for all the changes that happen at the bank. So I don't know what's happening at the bank today. I don't know what checking accounts there are. I don't know any of that stuff. But what I do know is stuff that's coming 6 months down the line. So I constantly 6 months, a year, 3 years down the line, I live in the future. And so by the time it becomes something that's happening at the bank, I'm already working on 10 other things that are happening, right? 6 months, a year, 3 years down the line. So it's been cool, man. It's been unique. It's been a learning opportunity in a sense to where you learn like what it takes to change small things in big business. So, we talked about it even before this call, and we were talking about how you're a one-man show and this, that, and the third, and right. And then,
right.
You got all of these things that are happening. Your HR, your marketing, your the digital, your tech support, your, all of it, right? But when you get down and you start to do these things, it could be something small at the bank. It's like, did you test it? So there's people specifically for testing. Did we get the right disclosures? Did we get the right? Are we under compliance and regulations? And all of these people are all different people. Everybody just specializes in one thing. And it's the weirdest thing ever that you kind of got to do all of these things for something so small. But it goes back into it. You want to go do something. You want to go fast, you go alone. You want to go far, you bring people with you. And you bring people that you trust. And when you get people in a room that you trust and they all have special, even like, we talk about, the roommate situation that you're in right now, or like a marriage situation. I don't want somebody who checks the boxes that I check. I don't want somebody who has to make sure that, or who's making sure that the food is put away at night before I go to bed. Because I'll do that. I want you to do the things that I don't do. I want you to have the things that I have shortcomings with, because that is what the family needs in order to operate optimally. Yeah. And so, and that's kind of what happens at the bank. So I for me, I say it goes through me, but I coordinate the conversations and I bring all of the people to make sure that it's optimized when it gets pushed out to the clients. So I get the credit card people, I get the ATM people, I get the compliance people, the legal people. We all come into a room together and I just foster conversations, and they make sure that everything gets identified. We fix anything that needs to get fixed, and it goes put out. And so I think for the first time ever, I've been a small part of a big operation, and I get to see how many people are involved in things and how long it takes. And you start to, once again, I think about you specifically, and our conversation and the pre-show, and that stuff is not done by mistake. You've put the work in. You've been diligent, man. You've been working hard over these years. Like I'm sitting over here like, yo, I've done a million things since the last time you and I spoke, and you've done one thing, and it's kept AT2 Entertainment going. And that's why you're having the success that you're having. So shout out to you, man, on your show.
I appreciate that, because I said something earlier before we started. I said like, oh, it just kind of randomly happened by the chance. And you're like, no, you've been working. Like,
yeah, man. Yeah, you were like, man, it's by chance, man. Like, nah, don't minimize, don't minimize the work that you put in, because a lot of that stuff we look past. A lot of that stuff we think is like, that's your regular day to day at this point. So you don't even think it's a big deal. Like, you took a big risk, man. So even to speak to that, like, you took some risk. So shout out to you, man. Shout out to you for real. But
Thank
yeah,
you. I
man.
appreciate that.
So man, that's really all that's been going on, man. Just me dabbling, me doing a lot of things, and just getting right with the Lord, and just having that level of peace in my life, and just, I guess now, bro, it's so bad, man. Like, I talk about God so much that like my Instagram thinks I'm a pastor now. If you run me like, it runs me pastor ads, bro.
Oh yeah, because they know what you look at, they know what you about. Yeah, they gonna
Right. They listen to my conversations, so they're like, "Oh, he be talking about the Bible a lot, man. He gotta be a pastor." Not a pastor.
Well, let me ask you: do you have any thoughts about the? Do you know about Pastor Lamar Whitehead, the one that got robbed in New York?
Was he the one that was like he was getting people to like tithe for like a watch or something like that? Is it him? Or is it
Oh no,
somebody
that's
else?
another one. That's a more recent one. But there was a pastor that got robbed. He had like over 400,000 in jewelry and stuff like that. They came, robbed him, took his jewelry and stuff like that, got away with some money, and like
Yeah.
everybody was saying that it was a hoax because they found out that he's in trouble with the FBI and he stole from his congregation, and like it's a whole big mess. But now this guy wants to, I guess he had an interview that hasn't been released with DL Hughley, and he said DL was trying to disrespect him. So now he want to box him, and like it's just crazy. Like
what? Nah, I don't.
On in the church.
I don't know what I don't know much about that, but everybody starts a thing for a reason. I think that people start things for the right reasons. And nobody's perfect. I think that the hard thing when it comes to like preachers or being a pastor is that sometimes that's people's only relationship with God is their relationship with you. And so, and we're not perfect. So don't allow my imperfection to discourage you from experiencing God's perfection. So I'll say that first. But also do your research on the churches that you're joining. I will say this. I love my church, man. When it comes to finances, my church is a mega church. It is a mega church.
Oh,
like Montel Jordan goes to my church.
oh wow.
Yeah, so like it's a big church. They send out the financials at the end of the year.
Oh, so it's transparent.
Yeah, it's very, very transparent. They'll tell you where the money went. The pastor, like at a mega church, the pastors don't have like a helicopter. They don't have like it's not that type of church.
Okay.
But it's big production. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna lie and say that it's not that. It's big production. But at the same time, it's very down to earth. It's 142 nations represented at that church.
Wow.
So it's very, very multicultural. And if you have a room where there's that many cultures, you got to be doing something that aligns right with all of them to appeal to all of them.
Right.
So, if anybody is going to experience any level of church, do your research. Make sure that it aligns with your values and your principles. Make sure it's very biblical. Make sure that they're getting in the mess controversially and not following the trends or not telling you what you want to hear, because a lot of times the Bible isn't what we want to hear. But also too, with all of that being said, do not allow any believer's imperfection discourage you from the perfection of God. Because
that's deep right there.
I'm not perfect. I don't pretend to be. I want to be the best representation of God, but I'm gonna get it wrong. And when I get it wrong, what happens is it pushes away people from God. Like, oh, you're doing that? I can't even be with you. I can't even, I don't even want to get with God if you a man of God and you're doing that, right? Like,
Right.
don't allow my shortcomings to be anything that's going to keep you away from God, because I'm not perfect, bro. I'm just not. I'm just not. So, and it's the same thing with anything else. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like marriage isn't perfect. Marriage is, everybody's marriage is hard. Just because it's hard don't mean it's not great. You know what I mean? So
True.
it's and don't allow somebody's bad experience with something discourage you from experiencing the beauty of it. So that's the only thing I would say in regards to that. But if somebody's tripping out, is just splurging the congregation money like that, yeah, there's you are why people are church hurt. You are part of you're part of the reason why people are
part of the reason. Yeah, he is part of the reason. Yeah. Is your mentorship through the church, or is that separate that you do?
So the mentorship that I'm doing right now is through the church, but you had to be nominated. And like I said, so this is 16,000 people that go to my church. There's 50 men a part of this program. So it's very, very like small group. And man, we got to get super deep on your podcast, man. This is we're a relaunch. So
what a relaunch.
Right. So when we first started the mentorship, we all met for like 8 hours that day, the first day, and we just put our shit on the table, bro. Like, we put all of our sin, our worst things, we felt like the worst things on the table, like porn addictions, adultery,
everything,
whatever it is that you're struggling with, like as a man, like sexual immortality, or I'm trying to think of like what's really bad, like I don't know, stealing, if you're like a habitual stealer, or like you killed somebody,
right?
Like, whatever it is,
killing somebody,
like whatever, like cocaine addictions, even, you know what I mean, like I'm talking about messy stuff. Even like past, like high-end pastors in the church, they kind of kicked it off to kind of set the tone. He's like, yeah, man, like I was watching the music video while my wife was sitting right there, and I kind of got stuck in the video, like, girl, that girl butt kind of nice. Then I had to like go apologize to her, like, babe, I'm sorry, like I was tripping. Like, those types of things were what we started with, and that kind of set the tone for like the entire year. So right, we've cried, we've ministered to one another. It's been awesome, man. It's been awesome to be a part of a group of men that want to be better men, because that's so rare nowadays. It's so rare, like holding each other accountable, and like making sure that we're that I'm praying to the things that are important to you. We've dealt with people having, parents overcome like cancer this year already, and so many different things. So it's been super dope, man. It's been a dope experience. It's definitely one that hopefully once I get through this year as a mentee, I'll be a mentor for somebody next year. But it's been dope, man. It's been dope. We have like relational, so like marriage assignments even in it. So like stuff that we have to do with our wives to make the marriage better.
Is everybody married in the group too?
And so you have single groups and you have married groups. So the group that I'm in obviously is a married group. So things so we're talking about like, wives and, different things at the house that, obviously a single guy couldn't really speak to. So it's been dope.
Yeah, that is really dope. I like that. And on YouTube, there's a sector called the Red Pill, the Manosphere, and like it's basically men that say like, oh, the women are this, they're that, and very negative towards women, and it's not really like uplifting. I almost feel like it taps into that inner misogynistic side that we have of us, because I don't think there's anything wrong, because we all have our things that we
Hold
think.
on, wait. Don't listen, man. We just had women slide in your DM. Don't mess this up.
I'm not a part of the
don't mess this up. Look, go ahead, but just don't mess this up.
But it taps into this, and there's a content creator. His name is Daryl Long, and I'll send you his YouTube. But he kind of challenges ideology that these men have on here and the things that they be saying, and with that mentorship, it got me thinking, like, damn, if maybe there was more men on social media feeding more into the positivity and how to love on your wife, respect each other, and how to hold each other accountable, man, this place would be different. It would be a lot different. So it just had me kind of thinking about that.
Bro, accountability is everything, man. Like, if you, as a man in any relationship, if something goes wrong, bro, just take responsibility. And it's not because it appeases your woman. It actually has the effect that you want on it, because you'll be able to control it next time. And she'll know that you got it. And a lot of time, once a woman trusts that you got something, she'll submit to it. And I think that sometimes a lot of men want that part without the first part. Like, we want the woman to just naturally submit without owning and gaining the trust of her. And so a lot of time when we're dealing with women, and we're dealing with like resistance, the resistance is because there's a lack of trust.
Right.
That's really what it is. It's super simple. It's super simple. She doesn't trust you. And so you have to take the time to gain her trust and gain her understanding. And once you have that, and once she trusts and knows that you got it, she's going to let you be the man that you want to be in the things that she trusts you with. And it doesn't matter what it is. It's like, if I go into the kitchen right now, you talk about cooking, bro, I can't cook to save my life. So if I go into the kitchen right now to go cook something, you know what my wife is going to do? She's going to follow. She's going to follow me in the kitchen. She's going to watch what I do. She's going to correct what I do wrong. Right? Why? Because she doesn't trust me in the kitchen. Right. That's okay. That's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that there's some level of like, yo, I'm a man. I could, like, bro, okay. After a while, you know what's going to happen? If I start cooking and I start cooking on a regular, and I gain the trust of my wife in the kitchen, I'm gonna go in the kitchen to cook something, and she's what's she gonna do? She's not gonna come in there no more.
Right.
She's not gonna come in there no more.
She's like, she's good,
And that's really what it all is. That's really what it's all about, man. And I see that, there's a lot of resistance and stuff like that when it comes to that stuff online. But men, we kind of have to take accountability, man. I think that's what women really are looking for. Initiative. Like, we talked about that earlier, man. You a man of initiative? You take initiative? Bro, you're doing better than 95% of men, bro. If you could plan a date, you're winning. Like, no lie, no BS. If you are a man that can plan a date and like listen to like your woman's like requirements of the date and like build stuff around that, bro, you can have any woman you want.
Yeah, that's deep. Yeah, I like that. I had to write, when you said take initiative, I had to write that down and put that in my notes, because I was like, damn, that's a good one. Okay. I got okay. I gotta update my online profiles and everything.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying, bro? Listen, man. I'm a superstar podcaster. Right. I'm cool as heck, and I take initiative, and I cook, and I'm a handyman. Get out of here, bro.
All in one.
Like, I'm killing the game, bro. I'm better than 98%. I'm better than 98% of the men you'll ever interact with.
Right. Oh man. There's one last question that I wanted to ask you, and I want to call this segment "Let's Be Clear."
Okay.
So basically, this is where we clear up any misconceptions about anything that's going on, or just about yourself, any kind of like misconceptions that you would like to clear up or rectify. Like, go ahead. The floor is yours.
I was thinking about this, man. Let's be clear on this, I guess, man. If you are, let's be clear. Oh man, I was trying to figure out like, where to go with this particular question. We were talking, when you sent it to me. I'll say this, and this is something that I guess was fed to me a couple weeks ago. Once you're a believer, if you are a believer, I'm about to get real deep. You have the keys to the kingdom of God. And so what does that mean? That means you have access to everything in the world, even things that are impossible. And so I was tasked with, and I guess I'll start this off. I'll ask you something.
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask you two things. I'm gonna ask you two things because you clapped when I started talking about God. So I'll ask you this: do you believe in God? I'll start there first.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. So my second question is, who is AT2?
Those are one of those questions I always get stumped on. I don't know why.
Why? Why is that? You spend the most time with yourself.
Right, and I should know myself.
Right.
AT2. He's a creator.
Yep.
He's an entertainer.
Yep.
He's an uncle. He's loyal. He's innovative. And AT2 is just all around a great person.
Okay. I like that answer. I like that answer. That's a dope answer. So I had a dream a couple weeks ago, and I woke up and I was able to see my wife, but I wasn't able to talk to her. And God was like, I want you to ask her the question I just asked you. Who are you? And he told me what she was going to say. And he told me how to respond. And then he told me to go. And I asked her, and she responded exactly how God said that she would. And I started crying. And I told her what God told me to tell her. And I think I've been tasked to tell everybody who is a believer this. So in your segment of let's be clear on who AT2 is. AT2 is a child of God. Forever. That's who you are. That is who you are. That is who I am. You're my brother. And so you have access to tap into things, and you should always operate from that space first in everything that you do. And that will change how you do everything. And so you have a certain level of, like even like you get to like Moses, right? Like Moses, you think about Moses, God was like, I want you to take these people to the Red Sea, and then we're going to help everybody escape. Right.
Right.
In Moses' head, he's like, yo, I got to get across this Red Sea. So what do I got to do? I got to mop up the sea. Like, how are we going to get across this? Right. God was like, just raise the staff. He raised the staff. That's all he did. He did. Sea split wide open. We think that we have to do so much because we don't allow God space in our lives to do the things that he wants to do. You have access to the kingdom, my friend. Operate from that, and everything you do, my brother, you are a child of God first. If something happens to you tomorrow where you can no longer create, guess what? You're still a child of God. If there's something that happens to you in any case, it doesn't matter what the situation is. If you die tomorrow, God forbid, guess what? You're still a child of God. Past, present, future, that's who you are. That's all I got, man. That's the major thing I think that I have to communicate, like, going forward, especially to people who believe. So always operate from that.
Was that the answer that your wife gave?
My wife gave, most everybody that I've asked this question to has given what they do more so than spiritually. It hasn't really, nobody's given me the spiritual answer, right?
Okay.
Nobody has. So, and I don't think that I would have given the spiritual answer like 3 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like, somebody's like, "Oh, who is Jarad?" Right? Jarad he's a martial artist. He's a father. He's a this. He's a that. You know, he's a content creator. He's a photographer. But a friend of mine, a close friend of mine, she's a designer. She does like this, that, and third. So I asked her, I said, what do you? She starts going through this list. And I'm like, so what happens if you wake up blind tomorrow? Then who are you? And so then her answer changed. Right. And so I was like, so let's not get into like what we do, because that's not important, because who we are is going to change how we do the things we do, period. And so when you learn that and you start to live in that space all the time, like, yo, man, like I said, stuff don't even happen to me. Stuff happens for me. Like, I'm a child of God, bro. Like, God, I like even like my son, my son I had a couple weeks ago. He's like, I want my iPad. And I'm like, no, you can't have it. But I was telling him he couldn't have it because we were doing something better that day. And he starts getting upset. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want my iPad. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And, it's almost like the Jesus meme where I got the bigger teddy bear behind me and you're going to be upset because I'm taking the small one away. Right? Like, that's what God always wants to do. God always wants to continue to bless you, but you kind of have to give the space. You kind of got to let stuff go sometimes that you want to still hold on to. And so, but when you operate, when that's your launching pad, AT2 Entertainment it has no limitation. There's nothing that AT2 Entertainment can't do, because AT2 is a child of God. And so you just stay in your space, man. You just stay in your space. Keep doing your thing, bro. I'm super proud of you. Like I always continue to say, it's been dope. I feel like and I haven't taken a lot of time in like Mary Jane or partaking in any level of drugs or anything like that. But I just feel like I'm always high. Like I feel like I'm always just walking on cloud nine. And so it's been a dope ride these last 2 years. Honestly, I'm blessed, bro. I'm blessed.
Yo, that's dope. And you know what the crazy part is that the change is not necessarily physical with you. It's like mentally, and like because it's mentally, it does come out physically, and we can see that change. And I feel that the growth that you have experienced is amazing, because because I won't say, because I hate saying like, oh, you're a totally different person, because you're still the same Jarad that I knew a few years ago, but just the growth, you can see it has changed you and changed you for the better. And I just appreciate you just being so open and honest about the things that you have went through and how you came to this and to be the person that you are today.
Yeah, man, it's been, I want to share with everybody, bro. That's the best thing you could do is if I listen, man, if I got secret sauce that you could get access to, like it's I don't want to hold it for myself, right? Like I want everybody to experience it. I want everybody to like have the peace and like live in their gifts and their purpose and do the things that they desire to do and overcome those things, because for a fact that at some point you're going to have 19,000 and at some point you're going to have 190,000. And I'm like, yo, I've been rocking with this man since he had 19 followers. And And now he's, you know what I'm saying? He's renting out the panels for the podcast. He's hosting these events in real time. Like all of the things that you have been talking about for like the last couple of years. Like, I don't want you to think that I've forgotten about any of that stuff. And I think that that's, for me, my superpower. That's my gift, is that I genuinely care about people. Like I genuinely do. Like I care about people more than I care about myself sometimes. And it's like, because you know why I do? Because I know I'm going to be okay. I know somebody else got my back. So I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about everybody else. And so it's just so exciting as somebody who, you know, like I said, I think that's why I like dabbling so much, because I love on people, and the people invite me in, and I get access to special things, and then I leave, but I leave, but I get to watch all the things that happen. I'm like, man, that's so dope. Like they doing that. Oh my God, like he doing this. Oh my, 10,000, 12,000, 19,000. Like what? What's like, this is crazy. So it's like I never would have thought that back then he would have been doing it like this big, and you're still like, yo, I still got a long way to go. So, so I'm just like, just keep doing your thing, brother. I'm watching close. I'm watching from afar at the same time. I love you, and you've changed a lot too, man. You've gotten so much better at this. You've gotten so much more organized. You've gotten so much more smooth. Like everything is just kudos. I wish I had my stream deck set up. I would hit the applause button on my stream deck. But I'm producing on your podcast now.
But you know what I love about what you were saying, because this is true for me too. I love seeing people win. You know, that's what I love. I love seeing people win, because I just think about like, yo, if you winning, I'm winning too. Like, I don't see it like a competition thing. I feel like everybody can win, you know? And for you, you are winning. Like, you are living, and the winning doesn't mean like you have a whole bunch of money in the bank and stuff like that. Winning means you're living the life that you want to live.
Yeah. Yeah. You live in a life that's fulfilling, man. You live in a life that you wake up in the morning, you feel like you're adding value to the world, man. You're doing something positive to the world. So, and like I said, man, you got 19,000 people to hit a subscribe button. So you're doing something positive to the world. So you're definitely making an impact. Thank you for having me, man. First off, I just appreciate the invite, the love today, man. It was dope. It was super dope.
Yes, and before I let you go, can we expect a book from you or something?
Oh, book from me. No. But no. I guess all reality, I'm thinking about having. I think I'll start off with men. I think I'll have like a men group, and where we really come in and we talk about real stuff, iron sharpens iron sort of stuff, and really start having like meaningful conversations. I was talking to a friend of mine. He was like, you know, girls talk about a lot of time, like, man, you still with that man? I can't believe you still with that man. Or you still working at that dead end job? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, women have those types of conversations. Men, not so much. When we do, we feel like the dude is attacking us or something like that. Like, yo, what you mean I ain't doing good enough? What you mean I ain't do the best I can? Like, women, they handle feedback better. And so the dichotomy of like women and what it is that they're doing and the things that interest them that's why they mature faster, because they handle feedback better. Right. So I think that like that type of stuff is kind of what I want to create next, like that level of, and I think from there, I'll probably start writing like blog posts and things like that, where you get into like anonymous names, but situations, because I'm not a creative that way where I can like create like scenarios or anything like that. But once I get into a scenario, I'm like, oh, that's just, you know how like you talk to old people, you be like, yo, I'm going through it right now, man. Like, this is crazy, right? And they be like, all right, so you tell me what you're going through. And then you tell them what you're going through. And they be like, man, that ain't nothing. You feel like, oh, the what? Right? Like your scope as you get older starts to open up, and it gets wider and wider and wider. So if you can add vocabulary if you can add vocabulary to the things that you're going through, not from like a psychoanalytical situation, but just more so like down to earth, like, oh, like we're talking about conflict just in the house. Like, oh, that's reality versus expectation. That's why you're pissed off, because of that space right there. Like when you can break it down that way for people to understand, now anytime there's any level of conflict, it's like, oh, okay, how big of a problem is this? Like, and you start addressing it differently. Like, okay, where did my level of expectation come from? Did it come from us having a conversation, or did it come from just my own expectation and me not expressing that? Right. And so now I'm mad, or I'm measuring that person against expectations that I didn't deliver to that person. And so now I'm mad about something that person's supposed to know through osmosis. Like, no, like no. So what do you need to work on? Well, I need to work on my communication skills. Like, that's what you need to work on. And that's the stuff that, like I said before, take accountability as a man, because there's always going to be something that you are at fault for that you can do better at. And then once you start to tighten up those screws, those things are going to happen less often. And then the woman's going to be like, damn, he really fixed that. He really fixed that. He really fixed that. He really like like he did conflict resolution, or he improved, or the change of behavior. Like all of that stuff is like so small, like, but it's huge deals when, especially when you're dealing with relationships. And that doesn't matter, like, you know, like relationship between woman and like man and woman. That's like me and you. Like I'm absolutely here mad at you, and not even tell you that I had expectations. You know, like it's just stuff like that. So it's just like it's just like that's what I kind of want to get to with men. So that'll probably be coming like next year once I get a little more time. I'm also platform communicating for 6th graders at my church right now. So that's what I got going on next. So I'll be like actually getting on stage and like delivering words to 6th graders. So I'm super excited about that. I've been working on like storytelling and all that level of stuff where I'm like, okay, let me get this communication thing down to like a T. I want to be really good at it.
Yo, I love that. Like, that's definitely dope. And, you know, I appreciate something that you mentioned about just being open and being able to being vulnerable and being able to have those conversations. Because, yes, a lot of times as men, we don't want to hear somebody tell us like, oh, you know, you ain't changed this, or maybe you should try this, something. It's all like, don't tell me what to do. You know, we automatically get defensive. So it's cool that you mentioned that, because it is so true, and it made me realize some things about myself. And then also, I appreciate the tool that you gave me, my expectations that I have. But if I ain't communicated that, then nobody knows. You know?
And look, and I knew that without you communicating that to me.
Yeah.
So, and you know, and the reason why is because there's certain things that we all have as men. And I can't really speak to the stuff that women have, right? But I'm a man, so I kind of know our shortcomings, and right. I can speak to them. But the second, I guess, the third thing is that, you know, even when we talk about you know, having those tough conversations with men, you have to develop relationship, and so you kind of have to give up yourself and be vulnerable for a second in order to gain vulnerability from the men in the group. And so, you know, even as we're going through these conversations today, I've given up a lot. I've given up a lot more than I usually would have given up. I'm so much more comfortable in the vulnerability because then because that's real conversation at that point.
Right.
But that's relationship this way and relationship this way is so important. So my relationship this way impacts my relationship this way. And so I can speak to certain things now once I develop a relationship with you. There, if I just met you off the street, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You're gonna be like, yo, shut up. But if I say, hey man, hey man, listen, that sounds like something I was going back through and da, and this is what happened, and this is where I went wrong, and this is where I messed up. And now you're like, oh, dad, go on, man, you a F up, man. You jacked up, right? But then you but then every story, even like when you get into like a movie, right? Like every story has like the climax, how that person overcomes the conflict. So I tell you how I overcame it and just drop that there for you. Like, this is what you need to do. And so you don't get stuck in, and you be like, man, I didn't even think about that. And then you start to give a little bit, because now I've given a lot. And then that gives me access to kind of more and more details. So it's just relationship building, man. And I'm becoming like obsessed with just relationships and people. So
right, and I can tell, and I feel your passion behind it too.
yeah, man. So it's dope, man. So yeah, man. That's it, man.
People where they can find you at.
Oh God, man. Jarad, right? Jarad, right? Wright. Everywhere and nowhere. Y'all gonna pull up my profile and be like, this man never posts anything. I do have something that I'm creating right now, and I've been kind of low key about it, just because I don't really want it to be super big. But it's called Music Collective Studios, and it's a opportunity for musicians to kind of come in and play their music and connect with one another. And what I'd like to do eventually is to build it up enough to where like businesses want to like give stuff away, but also like create challenges to where like a random producer has to work with a random singer or rapper, and they just gotta like make stuff and have a contest around it. So that's music. So that's Music Collective Studios. Loving on people once again. I want to be able to send money out. So like if there's a certain population out in the Bay Area, be like, yo, here's $400. Y'all go to Dave and Buster's for some time, and y'all just like build with one another, just spend time with one another, love on one another, things like that. So that's the only thing really that I'm working on outside of the stuff that we mentioned on the show.
Yo, I love that. Like you have like some great things in the works, and the thing is that when you have an idea, you're kind of like, I don't know if it's gonna work out or how it's gonna happen, but it's one of those things like you just have to stay persistent with it and just try it out. Just basically throw it out there, see how it works, and then build upon what you already have. That build upon on that foundation and keep building up, and then you're gonna have a house soon.
As somebody who built the house, I'm gonna take, you know what I'm saying? Once again, you gotta listen to people who done been through it. So you built the AT2 entertainment house. You know
yes,
how to
I built a house, but now I'm trying to build a mansion.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And outdoor pool.
I ain't even built a room yet. So you know what I'm saying? So, definitely gonna take heed to what you said, and I guess I'm gonna ask you to hold me accountable to it. So you'd be like, just check back and be like, Jarad, what's going on with that thing? Like I ain't done nothing in 3 weeks. You get to work. Get to work.
Definitely, I'll be checking in on you, and like always, I appreciate every conversation that we had, and this one was definitely dope. And I appreciate you being a part of the relaunch of Talk the Real Deal with AT2.
Hey man, I appreciate you having me, bro. It's all love.
Yeah, and I apologize for taking up so much of your time, but this was a dope conversation.
Bro, it's all love, man. It's all love, bro. It's all love. So.
All right, everybody. Thank you for checking out the show. I appreciate you. Jarad, say bye to the people.
Hey, man. Love y'all. Love everybody who's listening to the show, man. Shout out to AT2. Doing it big. Doing it bigger than I ever could have imagined. Keep doing what you're doing, my brother. And I just want a backstage pass at something in the future. That's all I want. I don't need to be like nothing. I just want like, who's that guy? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. 2023, AT2 going on tour. Promise.
Ooh, okay. I love it.
All right, man. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you. All love.
Peace out, bro.